Welcome back to Midnight Club, and we're camped out right here waiting for Darren. Just like the chase with Kareem in New York, we can't catch up with Darren normally. Just like with Kareem, we have to wait for Darren. And then we have to drive alongside him in the hopes that his arrow will turn green before he zooms past us. Can't catch up to Darren normally, he's exactly the same as Kareem, so we're waiting here patiently for him. We're going to start driving when he gets close enough. Right now is about good. We have 5 nitro boosters, so hopefully that'll help us keep pace with Darren. But yeah, he's a little fast, just a little fast. Kind of frustrating how the chases against the champions are so ridiculous. I get that it's a driving game, so you're obligated to have things like this. You know, you have to have really difficult bullshit. There's another reason we waited for him right there, though, and that's because after his arrow turns green... Please turn green, please, thank you. After his arrow turns green, he just does a short loop around the block, and then stops right in front of the ramp that we exited. So it's ideal to chase him over that ramp.
I ain't in the habit of losing, especially against your sort.
So thankfully the race against Darren is not as bad as the first race against Kareem. The first race against Kareem was just absolute hell. But the race against Darren is instead about trial and error memorization. The race against Darren takes you all over the fucking map, all over the whole damn thing. It's very unlikely that you'll win the race the first time around because it just takes you everywhere. And there's a lot to memorize. There's a lot you couldn't possibly see coming. If you paid attention during the previous races, the good news is that you will have memorized the map and all the routes we're taking. Like this right here, this turn, probably looks really familiar if you were paying attention during the previous races. But like I said, I kinda zoned out during those races. Thankfully, after you memorize the route you're supposed to take, the rest of the race is easy. It's very unlikely that Darren will actually beat you in a straight contest of speed, especially since there are so many goddamn turns in this final race. And this is obviously the final race, you know, we're racing the London champion, it takes you all over London. This is the final race, so we got this in the bag. I've raced this race so many times, I know exactly where to go, I know exactly how to get there, and there's no way that we're going to lose to Darren. That's not sarcasm or foreshadowing either. I've memorized this race, so we're fine. I'm absolutely confident we're going to win. There's a few upsets here and there, but this is a long-ass race, so we have plenty of time to catch up if we do goof up really bad. But you're very, very unlikely to win this race on your first time simply because of the amount of memorization it requires. Which, to be fair, that's something kind of inherent to driving games that take place in cities. It's not something that can be helped. You know, the harrowing turns that come with city racing requires some memorization, that's just how it goes. But all games are trial and error at least a little bit, even the game of life. The thing about driving games though is that in addition to being trial and error, you also have to play smart, you know, you have to plan out an efficient route. That's something a lot of games that require trial and error don't realize, is that you should use your smarts and not just memorize the whole thing. A lot of old games in particular on the NES and Super Nintendo really could have learned that lesson. Trial and error is fine, but you also want to use the trial and error to encourage the player to play smarter. Like, this solution didn't work, what if I try this alternate strategy? But a lot of older games are just like, nah, memorize the thing. Memorize all the button presses until it's ingrained into your muscle. You know, you just played the whole game blind now. Just close your fucking eyes. Fuck that shit, I want to use my brain, I want to solve puzzles. That's why I play games. That's why I play beat-em-ups, that's why I play driving games, that's why I play third-person shooters. I want to use my brain. Let me use my brain, Amagon. Fuck you, Amagon.
way.